right. So, Josh, how are you doing, man? How have you been?
Good, buddy. Good. Just working a little bit, trying to make a living.
Uh-huh. And are you back in the car as well? You're not off the track. NASCAR has brought you back in your lovely little car. How's it been?
Good, good. It's been wild ever since Atlanta for sure. Been super busy, but it's been fun, and got to talk to a lot of cool people and do some cool interviews, meet some new friends. So it ain't been a bad deal.
Oh yeah. And like, how are you looking forward to going to Atlanta?
Oh
Are you
yeah,
looking for?
yeah,
Do you
Uh,
like the track?
yeah. It's okay. It's changed so
It's
much,
okay.
so it's
Yeah.
turned into a speedway race, but it's still fun, very exciting. That's for sure.
Actually, about the speedway, I want to ask one thing because they're like since the last race, there were a couple of people very, very vocal. I mean, every driver was actually very vocal about it. Is it true that super speedway racing is not what people particularly prefer?
I think the fans enjoy it a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, just because usually when we wreck big. But as far as a
Yeah.
driver point, I guess if you're running up front, you love it, right? But if if you're kind of stuck in the pack and it's hard to pass and things like that, it's
Mhm.
frustrating for sure. But I'm sure if you ask the guy who won the race, it's not a bad deal.
I mean, winning one of the super speedway racing, I feel like it's maybe one of like the biggest events because we have some insane drivers who haven't won on a super speedway. I mean, Kyle Larson, for example, I don't think there's anyone on earth who would say Kyle Larson is a bad driver. I mean, he easily comes in the top, the best drivers list, but he hasn't won on a super speedway.
Yeah, it's very tough. I mean, I always say like Daytona and Talladega and now Atlanta. I'd rather be lucky than good any day for sure. I mean, just staying out of trouble and there at the end. I mean, that's the biggest deal on these speedway type races.
So you agree that it's all about luck. It's like winning is more about luck than it is talent.
I'd probably say at the speedways, I mean, you still got to have the ability to know what's going on and
Hmm.
read the lanes and which line is going to be better at what point in time, or be aware of who you're racing against. But it's still like I said, if you can be lucky, that's more beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, every track is different. I think that's what makes NASCAR so exciting, which I feel like the Formula One folks would not really understand because for them all they see is left turns, but I feel like they don't understand the intricacies that really go on between speedway, super speedway, short tracks. So, I mean, just coming out of Bristol, we just came out of Bristol. What are your thoughts on the dirt race in Bristol?
I
That's a
love the
hot
dirt
topic.
stuff. Yeah, a lot of guys. I mean, I think a different track might be better. Um,
Mhm.
or maybe somewhere like I think the trucks they go to Knoxville. So, I think
Mhm.
full blown dirt would be pretty cool. I run a bunch of races in the ARCA series on dirt, and it was a blast. I mean, it's super fun. You get a lot of different drivers
Yeah.
run better than they do on a regular basis. Just because
Mhm.
I mean, you got to be able to control your car, right? It's
Yeah.
to watch too, man. I mean, it's a blast. We're taking stock cars
Oh,
and ripping.
yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Exactly. I mean, maybe I'm only speaking from a viewer and someone who's a journalist. I'm only speaking from that perspective. But I mean, to me, it's just such a fun experience always watching a dirt race because it's like there's dudes sliding all around the corners. No one is really caring about braking hard, following the line. I was just like, yeah, just take it in the corner, slide around. No one's really about like, oh, let's turn carefully. No one's like that. That's the main reason why I like short track racing so much. So what do you think about short track racing? Are you a big fan of short track racing? You love the bumpy stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. The older the facility, the more wore out the asphalt. I mean, it's just fun. I mean, I love short tracks. I mean, it's what I do. You know,
Ooh.
I support short track racing a bunch, and I mean, that's kind of where we all came from, right? So just
Yeah.
I love it, and I think it's fun too with the stock cars on the short tracks. I mean, it
Mhm.
takes more ability than say your Michigans or your Poconos or something like that.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on poker? I feel like we're getting very nerd heavy on in this conversation, but Pocono is such a love-hate track. Like there's some people who love it, there's some people who just simply don't like it at all.
For sure. I mean, it's fun at times, and then sometimes it's not. But restarts are a blast. You know, everybody up. But once we get kind of spread out, it's I don't know. I think it's super boring, and it's got to be boring for the fans to watch. But
Yeah.
I've left there sometimes and said they need to fill it full of water and make it a lake. But
I feel like that would make a race like Pocono a little more fun. Like just having like a pond in the center with some ducks swimming in there. I feel that would just make Pocono more fun than just watching like 35 dudes go around in a Dorito-shaped track, pretty much. But I mean, it's I mean, I feel like Pocono is also like boring tracks like Pocono are also important in the larger scheme of the whole schedule because like having drivers really, exercise that consistency is also important because in short tracks you don't really get consistency, right? Short track is just about making the smartest decision around the corner, evading a bump. But I think stuff like Pocono would maybe give that change of pace. So I mean, everyone has their own thoughts.
yeah, Pocono's definitely more like a an equipment based track. You know, you got to make sure
Yeah.
you're right and got good horsepower and things like that. So, you know, it's just different factors for different tracks, right? So, I mean, you see your bigger teams, you know, have more success on those
Mhm.
tracks like that. They've got the engineering and the aero
Yeah.
and
So it's like so in tracks like Pocono, which have a lot of straightaways and not a lot of banking, what really takes the bigger, what really makes the bigger impact? Is it the horsepower or is it the aero? Is it like the car that can push the fastest with the least drag, or is it just about having the most, you know, power in your engine?
yeah, I think the aero aspect is big. I mean, getting the car down and making sure you got good straightaway speed. I mean,
Hmm.
horsepower, right? I mean, I've never drove a car and been like, man, I got too much horsepower, right? It's that combination track. You know, I mean, you still got to get through the corners good so you can carry that speed down the straightaway. So, like I said, you know, it's just a little bit of everything.
Right. All right. Coming out, I mean, you unfortunately missed your road course weekend because NASCAR. But what are your thoughts on road course racing? Are you all for them or not so much?
Oh yeah, I'm not a road course guy by no means, but I love the road course. So much fun, especially when it rains. You know, I'm a big
When
fan
it
of
rains.
racing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love rain racing. Like the year at the Roval where it just completely poured and everything was flooded. I think we were running
Oh yeah.
20th or 21st, and it started raining. Well, we drove all the way to second. I mean, so I mean,
Oh
I
wow.
yeah, I grew up running a lot of stuff in the rain, Legends cars and stuff like that. So
Uh
last we ended up getting wrecked unfortunately on a restart, but you know, with the rain it started moving forward. So I mean, I have a lot of fun with that stuff, and it's just the ability comes out. You know what I mean? That you got to get up on the
yeah.
wheel, show your talent.
Because I mean in motorsports in general, I mean there's this the general perception that rain is like the big equalizer. It it takes the car out of the equation to a good extent and it just comes down to driver ability. So I mean I guess maybe, that's maybe what you need. I mean what you need right now is some good rain racing on Roval.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take some rain on the Rebel any day.
Eldora. We have to come back to dirt because I forgot about this entire question. But this was like the main thing on my list. I was like, I have to ask questions, but like this one takes precedent over other stuff because Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a big proponent of Eldora. So what do you think? Like dirt racing in Eldora? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean it fits perfect. It's always put on good races. I mean
Hmm.
I think it's great. You know, the trucks put on a really good show on dirt because you know them guys they just still the steel bodies. So I mean they're getting after it and crushing quarter panels and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's a good show, and I mean you always see somebody different. You know, like I said earlier, it's just you know you see a different driver or a different team. You know, really propel and
Hmm.
this.
Man, I have to admit, I mean, I just have to say your background is so damn distracting because I'm just so interested in everything you have back there. Like, where are you
Yeah.
sitting right now?
This is my shop in Concord, North Carolina. That's one of our late model stock drivers, Bryce Applegate. That's his car, and that's my late model over there. We got
Wow.
some our stuff in here too. I got ARCA cars on that side of the shop, so we got a little bit of everything.
That's just lovely. But all right, since we're talking about cars, are you one of those guys who's like super deep into the setup? Like you want to know exactly what the toe is, what the camber is, how we're adjusting the toe link or everything. You just like the crew chief will handle it.
No, I mean, I've always worked on my own stuff and set up my own.
Oh.
So, no, I'm real big on all that stuff, man. I mean, that's what makes a good driver, I think, is knowing their equipment and knowing
Hmm.
what change is going to be made or which change to maybe suggest to make. I've crew chief myself a lot. We run the Archer
Oh.
series, so I don't know, it's just something I've always done, like the late model stuff. I mean, we build,
Hmm.
prepare, set up, fix, late models and legends cars and things like that. So, it's just in my nature.
So even in the Xfinity series with a crew chief who's dedicated to getting the car the perfect setup, would you say you still have the exact same amount of control you have when you're running a stock? Oh, so sorry, when you're running a late model or a midget or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely talk about it. I mean, we kind of
Hmm.
bounce stuff off each other, and maybe sometimes what I feel during a race, I might know that, hey, I need track bar adjustment instead of wedge, or maybe we just need air
Hmm.
pressure and something different. You know what I mean? So, we definitely talk about it back and forth, and that they trust what I have to say, which helps a lot. I mean, they don't really second guess things, so it makes a big difference throughout the race
I
on
mean, that's
adjustment.
what the key is, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, one question. I mean, this has been on my head for a while. So, let's say tomorrow you're going into a cup race, all right? Like you get a hot seat call. It's like, all right, Josh Williams, we need you in the cup race. Don't park it on the straightaway, but we need you to drive our car. Irrespective of team, you get to choose one of your teammates. Who are you picking from the cup? In the cup, who are you picking as your teammate?
Um, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple guys, like I'm friends with Briscoe and Busher or whatever, so those guys are
Oh,
them too as my teammates.
oh, I mean, Briscoe just had an incident on uh, just had an incident at Bristol, and I feel like he got so much love after what happened between him and Blaney because I mean he went. It's dirt racing. He went. He knocked the guy out. But I mean, you just gotta love the fact that the guy had the honor to just come back on Twitter, admit it that yes, that was me. That was not good on my part. So, like, what do you have to say about that? What do you have to say about Briscoe?
Yeah, I mean, if you get into somebody and on purpose or whatever, or even by accident, and you spin the guy, I mean, you got to take blame for it, right? So I mean, you don't
Yeah.
cover it up like other drivers do. Just let it happen.
Is there anyone in particular you're referring to when you say other drivers?
Uh,
I'd rather not say that, huh?
may or may not have happened this weekend in the Cup race.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Uh,
Should we say it?
I guess.
Larson and Preece?
Yeah.
Yeah. So who was at fault there? I mean, there's so many contrasting opinions. Who do you think was the guy who was like, you were wrong there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just I mean, they're racing hard, right? So I mean, it is what it is.
Racing
I've
hard.
watched, but I mean, I'm sure it doesn't show everything that happened. So I mean, it could go
True.
all the way back to the beginning of the race. So it's just one that happens, and I guess you'll see in the future if it's a big deal or not.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like this is exactly what NASCAR wants, but I think everyone wants a rivalry right now. I was like, well, that's a good spark that everyone could be looking forward to.
Yeah, I think just the drivers are scared to say anything or to do anything right now, just of everything
True.
that's. But maybe we'll get back to being able to race each other and kind of express our feelings a little more in the future.
So like, do you think Kyle Larson's situation, and by situation I mean being in the top team right now, affects what he says on camera? Because I think this extends to all Hendrick guys.
Yeah. I think right now they kind of got to be careful with the
Mhm.
attention that they put on themselves, with NASCAR. But I mean, we're racers, right? So I mean, you just
Yeah.
you race.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to race. I mean, you're gonna run into someone, but what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of racing, right? I mean, we don't we're not racing SCCA where we're not allowed to pass in certain spots or we're not allowed to run into each other, right? So this is NASCAR. I mean, we're this sport was you know driving as hard as you can and being able to move the guy in front of you if you're faster than him.
Exactly. I mean, especially like since, the NASCAR world is still so fresh about the fact that, we were racing against like there were we were seeing guys like Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon race the living hell out of each other. So I feel like that precedent just carries on to this, to how things are right now. Because I feel like drivers still would very much watch those clips to this day. But so, I mean, what I am coming to is the whole respect debate that Kyle Busch started and Denny Hamlin really played so well into it. It's like, is it true? Do you think it's true that this whole respect thing, is it actually a fact that drivers don't have respect for each other?
Well, I mean, a lot of the, I mean, you got to look at the change of drivers, right? So, I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of your old school guys are either moving on or retiring or they're
Yeah.
gone. So, and you got these younger guys coming in that, they haven't had to race that way,
Hmm.
and try to be perspective of the guys that's been there for a while. So, I mean, I understand it, you know what I mean? And that's how I was taught to race, when I started, just kind of give the guys that's been there for a while some respect, and then you can earn yours. So I get where they're coming from.
But do you think it is harder for the new kids coming in to actually enter the sport now?
It just depends. I mean, NASCAR's very money based right now, so I mean, it kind of just depends if they've got enough.
I knew we were getting to that. I didn't expect you to just straight out loud. Like, yeah, NASCAR is money based.
Really. I mean, it's not the way it used to be. I mean, and which is sad because there's a lot of people who have a lot of talent that don't get the good opportunities because they get
Sadly.
out on who writes the checks. And I mean, there's some drivers out there that's made it recently that have made it on talent, but they've had good partners behind them too. So I don't know. It's a difficult sport right now to be in, and I mean all the way down to your lower levels. I mean your Saturday night
Yeah.
short track. It's difficult too. I mean, just trying to find funding and the right people behind it to get to the racetrack. I mean, it's a tough sport.
I mean, especially the relevance of sponsors right now in the sport. I mean, I feel like teams are like entirely responsible. Like the teams are entirely dependent on the sponsors right now. It's not like, you could just spend a few $1,000, get a car and take it on track.
Yeah, yeah, those days, sure.
Like Alan Wiki. I was like, rest in peace, Alan. But yeah, those were some days.
Yeah, I always said I was
You're
born.
born? What?
I always said I was born at the wrong time.
How different would you think your situation would be? Like, let's say if NASCAR wasn't, like you say, as money focused as it is right now, and if it was easy for you, like, okay, invest a few $1,000, go make my own car and race. How do you think your situation would be? Would you say that you would be performing way better? Or
I guess that just depends. I mean, it's still even back
Mhm.
in the day, had more money, ran faster, right? So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, of course.
It's hard to tell. I mean, it's super hard to tell because we might not ever know.
All right, Josh, tell me something. Ever since the whole your heroic move that day, how have things been? How has it been being, being in the spotlight of NASCAR, being in the spotlight of all the fans, just the man of attention? What's it like being the man of the hour?
It's been super busy.
Super
Usually,
busy.
one's dead by lunch, so it's it's been fun, but we've had fun with it. Like I said, got to meet a lot of interesting people and kind of be able to explain my story a little bit better. People get to know me and
Mhm.
shed a little bit of light on who I am as a person, and hopefully a lot of people kind of remember me for that instead of me walking across the infield at Atlanta.
But I feel like you walking across the field, I feel like that's what really made you that superstar. Like the guy who would just park his car in the middle because of a call, which was a decision which a lot of people felt was very silly of NASCAR. And like one person who has the guts to go and fight against. I feel like that is what really makes you the superstar of NASCAR right now. So I feel like even if people do remember you for that, I think that's a good thing because now you have gathered a lot of fans. Because we also have our own fan page and we talk. And there's a lot of people who say that we are your fan because of your actions. So
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that awesome? And you get to meet a lot of people. And actually coming to that, you were on a podcast with Dale Earnhardt Jr. How was that experience? How is he in real life?
Yeah, it's been pretty fun, man. Me and Dale got into it at Richmond a couple years ago, and I thought that
Oh,
was so. I had people send them burning my hero cards and all kinds of crazy stuff. So uh, I had a shirt made that said "I survived Junior Nation" because it was the craziest 24 hours.
oh
I thought,
wow.
but this kind of topped that all. But no, it was cool, man. We had fun with it, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. He seems like a fun guy. He seems like a fun guy to just chill with, have a beer or something.
Oh yeah, he's down there, just relaxed.
Yeah, that's what he just seems like, especially someone at his level. He just seems like such a fun guy. Because honestly, I'm a big fan of the Dirty No Media podcast, especially Dale Jr. Download. Like I'm the first person on the podcast listening to it as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. They do a good job of telling people stories and bringing some light to some things that people would never know. So it's cool and awesome to see that his passion for motorsports and
Yeah,
even the he puts a lot of effort into motorsports and that means a
yeah.
lot. I like that.
And Denny Hamlin jumped in with Dale Jr. Actions detrimental,
Yeah,
which I
that's
don't think he expected that his actions would be detrimental.
yeah, in podcast ever.
That was the most aptly named podcast ever. And I feel like this is such a good marketing platform for him now because he can actually say that my actions were detrimental. What do you think? Do you think he should have won the appeal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with them, penalizing him for that by no means. I mean,
Mhm.
like I said, we're racers. I mean, we race each other hard, and
Exactly.
I mean, that somebody shouldn't be penalized for something like that. I mean, if you go back to years past, I mean, you've seen some pretty blatant stuff, and there's never been any issues before. So,
Exactly.
you know, it's just the way we are right now.
That's just the way NASCAR is. That's the backbone of NASCAR. Hey, it's NASCAR. It's not Formula One. It's not, we will race like professional racers. No, run the guy. Give him a hard
Yep,
time. I mean, that's how you guys race. That's how NASCAR works.
that's why I buy tickets. You know what I mean? That's what they come to see. They want to see that rivalry and that
Yeah.
if somebody you won't give somebody as much room, because you don't like them. I mean, it's just that's how it works. And give that.
All right, but now tell me something. Let's go to the age-old question that every interviewer has to ask without a doubt. The Mount Rushmore of racing, all motorsports, but there is one condition. It can only have people who are active, either active right now or have been active for the past 10 years. Go.
Mm. Like who I root for.
Who you root for, who you think is like your greatest, someone who inspired you, anything. Just like the Mount
Uh,
Rushmore. Who are the greatest?
I was uh I was always a Tony Stewart, Mark Martin guy. I mean
Ooh.
those were my two guys. I mean I've always been number six. I mean we did the old school.
Oh, nice.
That's just I was always that guy. I bought one of my first quarter minutes from Mark Martin, and he's always been good to me over the years. And I don't know, I like the Mark Martin side, and I like the Tony Stewart sides. Try like both. You've got you're really super aggressive, outgoing, and then you got your really smart, conservative, straight edge Mark Martin. So I mean, it's kind of the world.
But what was it like? You were probably watching NASCAR as a younger person, watching Tony Stewart, Mark Martin get into it, and now you're in the world. Now you're in NASCAR, and I'm assuming you've already met both those guys. How was it like meeting them for the first time?
That's pretty cool. I guess when I was younger, it was kind of a bigger deal to me. But I mean,
Yeah.
they're just normal people, just like us, right?
Yeah.
So they're good guys, though, man. And they both love motorsports and show a lot of passion for it, and that's what makes a difference. Those guys, they didn't move on and just forget about where they come from.
Yeah. But what about other racing series, like maybe Formula One, MotoGP? Like, who are some other guys that you know?
I don't have a clue.
I
No,
love your
no.
honesty, man.
Yep. Don't have a clue. I don't even watch NASCAR.
Oh, wow.
Whatever Twitter is what I see.
Ooh. So I guess on Twitter, the thing you're seeing the most right now is the penalties and the $550,000 Hendrick has to spend and the 50,000 Suarez has to spend.
I agree
What's
with
your?
this.
Oh yeah,
I agree with that. That's kind of that's a dangerous situation for pit crews and officials. That was a bad deal, but
yeah.
I, the penalty thing is it's insane. I mean, I'm glad they didn't find me because I'd be still washing dishes at NASCAR.
That was a good one. Washing the dish you ate that pizza in.
Yeah, I'd be taking out the trash and washing the haulers, all kinds of crazy stuff to pay that off.
Oh, that was a very good one. But is that true? Like you like as soon as you got off it, you were just like you so bluntly and unironically said one of the funniest things I have heard in years of following NASCAR, which was, "What are they going to do? Fine me? I can't pay it. I can't afford it." I think
I
that's what
mean,
you
it's
said,
true.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't lying. I mean, I was 100%.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. But like, do you think like all the fines that NASCAR is doing right now are they all justified, or some of them are just besides the Denny Hamlin one, which we already went through?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know the whole backstory on the Hendrick deal, but I'm sure it was. I mean, I'm sure they were doing something. I mean, you don't take all the parts off of every car on your team, without there being some
Hmm.
type of issue. I kind of feel like that was justified because I mean they've got to set some type of bar, because some of the bigger teams they'll
Yeah.
just pay the fine, and so I think they did good by that for sure. And
Hmm.
the inconsistency though is a little strange, like between the Kaulig fine compared to the Hendrick fine, but um, it's up to them, right?
Hmm.
It's their they can kind of do what they see fit.
Yeah. But I mean, that's something beyond our control. Like we can just sit back and enjoy the show. That's something in NASCAR's control entirely.
Exactly.
So tell me one thing. So as a race car driver, I mean, this like I just really want to get into the life of a race car driver beyond the fact that they are on track with racing. Like I really want to humanize you as a driver. So like, what does your week look like? Like, are you preparing all the week? Do you get any off days or something to just kind of relax, crack open a beer or something?
I don't think I'm your typical driver for sure. Like I've got in my shop, we've got the late model stuff and Legends cars that we work on throughout the week, and then
Hmm.
Thursday or Friday we go to the racetrack and run the Xfinity cars. So um, I don't really ever get any time off. It's other than Coda week.
Oh,
Coda weekend was the only weekend I got to enjoy myself for a little while. So
oh, it's really like that's the only time you go really enjoy yourself.
oh yeah. If we have an off weekend, I usually go with the guys with the late model or we do something like that and race, at the short tracks here in North Carolina. So we're all the time doing something.
So you're very much in the same class as Kyle Larson and Tony Stewart. Like you cannot keep your hands off the wheel pretty much. Just want to keep at it.
Yeah, race car all the time.
But don't you ever miss that lifestyle sometimes? Like, don't you just like sometimes relax?
I don't know. I've never done anything different since I was about 9 years old. So I've always,
Wow.
all I've ever done is raced. I mean, I've never had a normal job. I've, raced for a living or worked on race cars for a living. So it's just normal to me. My wife gets upset from time to time. So we got to, sometimes, some days we'll go home a little earlier. I might skip out on a weekend with the late model stuff. But it's tough. It's tough. She understands though. We've been together for like 13 years. So she's seen it all.
Nice. Well, that's nice. I mean, at one point she has to get to the understanding, like, all right, he's a race car driver. He has to go out and race.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's amazing. I mean, that's something fun, right? Like, but okay, you said that you have been racing since you were 9, and this is the only lifestyle you've known, basically.
Yeah, I started
racing.
4.
You started running with 4.
We're running road race go-karts in South Florida when I was 4.
Wow.
Just kind of followed the steps, and once I turned 15, I moved to North Carolina. I finished high school online, and I just raced all the time and lived at different people's houses and traveled and all kinds of crazy stuff. So
you've experienced that life as well. You've experienced the life of just living in whoever gives you a bed.
Exactly. Couch, floor, whatever.
So spending all the money you get on a new car, getting the car up and ready.
That's it.
So does it feel good to finally, I mean, looking back at a younger Josh Williams, does it feel good to finally be, stable financially?
I don't know if I'm financially stable, but I've got a job on Saturday, so that's good.
I mean, true. At least I've got a job on Saturdays.
Yeah, everybody thinks,
right? Think about it.
Sure, some of them do, but I haven't found it yet. So,
I mean, you have your own garage now.
Yeah. That got 3 full-time employees and kinds of crazy stuff.
Wow. So. Is this the same garage from when we chatted the last time?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you had 2 garages.
No, this one's mine. The other shop, we've got DGM has a shop in Mooresville that they keep Mike's cars at the team. So.
Oh, all right. That's awesome, man. So you have been racing since you were 4. So that is clearly the only lifestyle you've known, right?
Yeah.
So do you still get that adrenaline rush that I do when I step into a race car, when I step into a go-kart with my buddies, like, all right, we're going to go on a race. Like, there's a different kind of adrenaline rush that comes in. Does that still happen?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, like the pre-race, butterflies that people talk about. I don't get that stuff anymore. But the rush of what's happening during a race and things like that. I mean, I don't think that'll ever go away.
I mean, again, that's a lifestyle you've known from the beginning. Like you always have something that keeps you going every day.
Oh yeah.
But have you ever had moments where you felt like you want to quit racing? I just want to go back to a normal life.
Yeah, I've thought about, stuff like that before. Just, the NASCAR stuff's so hard and it's super stressful and finding money and finding good rides. It's really, really hard and difficult. A lot of people don't understand, how hard it is to make it in this sport. And, I've thought about just doing my development stuff and, helping the kids and people on their late model stuff and just doing that full time. But, we ain't made it that far yet. So we'll see. Hopefully, we can, keep growing and keep building our partners and, eventually make it to a full-time deal on Sunday. So ain't giving up yet.
I mean, honestly, you shouldn't. I feel like this is just the perfect time for you to just even grow even further. Because now you have everyone's attention, right? Like now you can really show them what you have. I mean, I believe like I've seen your stats before you became the guy walking down the straightaway. But I mean, even before that, you were never someone who was running at the back of the pack. So you were always someone who always posed a very good, who always gave a very good race. So, I mean, I feel like do you think this is like your perfect opportunity to show them what you are?
I think so. I mean, you just gotta be good on the track, right? So we gotta
Of
prepare
course.
good race cars and have good finishes. And we didn't run very good at Richmond, so we went back to the drawing board and started over. So we're gonna see. Hopefully, we made some improvements for Martinsville, and we'll find out who's showing.
But even though, like, Martinsville, like, tell me one thing. So, the whole Chase Elliott situation right now, the guy's out, legs gone, and everyone's doubting that he will even jump to Martinsville. In fact, that's all that's on Twitter. That's been on Twitter since yesterday. Everyone's speculating if he's coming to Martinsville or not. What do you think? Are you looking forward to him coming back on track?
I mean, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, right? I mean,
Of course.
he's a good driver. He's good for our sport, and
Mhm.
I mean, it's just something that happened, right? You can't control it. So hopefully he
Yeah.
comes back and he's good to go. I mean, we've seen drivers come back from injuries before and have some good success. So it's cool to see Hendrick putting these guys in the car and still showing that they've got good equipment and there's good drivers out there who can run up front for them.
Even, I mean, Josh Berry. Honestly, I mean, I was obviously expecting big results from Josh Berry because if Hendrick is choosing someone to put in the number 9 car, they would choose someone good. But were you also one of those people who was, caught off guard by the results he showed?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the Cup cars. I mean, it's completely polar opposite of the Xfinity car. I mean, they don't drive the same at all. So, I mean,
Mhm.
that learning curve is going to take a little bit, but I mean, you see once they got to a short track, I mean, he ran really good. So,
Yeah, he
I
ran
mean,
really good. Like he ran
it,
damn good.
yeah, and I mean, it's just tough. I mean, everybody in the Cup Series is good. And there's a ton of good cars and good drivers. So, I
Mhm.
mean, it doesn't hurt his situation any that he's sitting in the 9 car. So that makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Now we know that all of these Cup guys are going back, running in the Xfinity, they're running in the trucks. How does it feel as a driver in that situation when someone from the top series, and it's never a guy, it's never someone with not so good equipment who's not used to running at the front. It's always guys like Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman. It's always these guys. How does it feel as a driver when you have these top guys coming in competing against you? You feel like it takes away from your possibility to win a competitiveness?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're race car drivers, right? So I mean, you try to
Yeah.
beat them regardless. I mean, it's not their fault that they're running in our series and good stuff. I mean, it is. I mean, it's only going to make the rest of us better. I feel like running against those
Hmm.
guys that have been doing it for a super long time and are in really good equipment. So I mean, if you can run with those guys or outrun those guys, I mean that's great. I mean, I don't. A lot of people complain. They're like, "Oh, well, they shouldn't run in the lower series." Well, why not? I mean, we're all
Yeah.
race car drivers. I mean, we're all trying to get to Sunday too. So I mean, if we've got the
Yeah.
opportunity to race those guys, I mean, well, why not?
Exactly. I mean, that actually sounds fun. I mean, imagine, you could probably soon call yourself the guy who beat Kyle Busch. That's one thing.
I'm just saying.
Come again? Sorry, I didn't catch you.
I'm just saying. I mean, you could be that guy.
You could be that guy. Would
I
you
hope so.
want to be that guy?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely. If I was running second to Kyle, I definitely. We would either both wreck or I'd win coming to the checkered.
It would both wreck. Ooh. Just imagine NASCAR Twitter if you were the one wrecking Kyle Busch.
I wouldn't do it on purpose. I definitely make it hard for him to get back to the start. Or I would.
Of course. That's
I mean,
awesome, dude.
if you got a cap,
Oh, your voice went.
if the opportunity presents itself, you got to capitalize.
I mean, now I'm looking forward to you racing against Kyle Busch. I want to see that. I mean, I'm gonna get tickets for that soon. Just
For
make it
sure.
happen. I hope someone from NASCAR actually hears this. Someone from or Richard Childress hears this. I want to see that happen.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
How are things with Denny Hamlin? Are you and Denny Hamlin still in touch?
Yeah, we still talk to each other a little bit. It's
Oh
he's a cool
wow.
dude, and he
Yeah.
loves that. he loves racing, man. And he's very passionate. So it's cool that he reached out and we kind of talked a little bit, and still talk from time to time on what's going on in the crazy world of NASCAR right now.
I mean, he even almost paid your fine. And luckily NASCAR didn't fine you.
Yeah.
And you have some supporters.
I think he was upset because they didn't.
I mean, maybe, okay, maybe, just maybe it's time to be in good contacts with Denny Hamlin so you could get into a 2311 car sometime.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready whenever he's ready.
Whenever he's ready. I mean, racing alongside Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I've known both of those guys for a long time.
Oh yeah, how are they?
Pretty good. Me and Bubba Wallace used to be like best friends when we were kids, running Legends cars at Bandoleros. We don't talk that much anymore, but we grew up together, and I either lived at his house or he lived at my house. That's how it worked.
Oh really? Oh, we're uncovering things from Josh Williams' past no one knew about.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome. No, so you guys are not that close anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, I'm doing my deal, he's doing his deal, so it's we're both, but we see each other or whatever in the garage. We'll talk for a little bit.
Well, that would be fun. Like if you guys someday race alongside. I mean, you could text Denny Hamlin, nudge him the idea. It would be awesome to see you racing against Bubba Wallace. I can just see the NASCAR media getting excited. It's like two buddies reuniting, something like that.
Headlines.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. So, okay, since you said that you moved to Charlotte, right?
Yep.
So, is it actually true? Like this happened. This is way back. Like not actually that far back. It's like before 2022 ended. I was watching an interview with Kyle Larson when he talked about how easy it is, how normal it is to see race car drivers around North Carolina. Like it is such a normal thing in North Carolina to see drivers around. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean we're all here, so
yeah, everyone's there.
We don't hide from anybody.
and is it actually like easier to get into the racing scene if you're in North Carolina?
I wouldn't say it's. I would probably say it's easier. Just because there's so many people here that can give you advice and kind of help you and guide you in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I moved here, so it's a different world here for sure, and the level of motorsports in North Carolina is definitely way above any other state.
Are there any like secret hangout spots for all the drivers? After having a good Sunday, where all the guys go out to have a quick drink, which you would not mind revealing.
Yeah, all the heroes, they got like big fancy boats and stuff, so they go out on the lake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they all go lake partying.
Oh, damn!
I got a kayak.
Fun.
I don't quite fit in.
Kayak. You don't fit into a kayak. Oh, that's awesome, man. I mean, it's honestly awesome to like kind of get in, read about, get to know more about a driver's life because you've been following NASCAR for years, but you never get that touch with the driver. Actually having a chat with you like opened me up to that whole, the whole new point of view. But man, had a great time. But I feel like it's time for even us to wrap up, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. Well, anytime you need something or whatever, just holler at me and we'll chat about it.
Let's take a quick picture for the Twitter fans. For anyone who was waiting for us. Okay, smile. Nice. I got this one. I'll have this sent to you.
Well, heck yeah, man. If y'all have me on, like I said, anytime y'all need something, whatever, just give me a shout and we'll make it happen.
Oh, for sure, man. If I'm ever around the Charlotte area, you know what? I'm just gonna straight tweet at you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post this photo on Twitter as well. You'll find my username. If I'm ever in North Carolina, you have to take me to your garage, man. I'm obsessed with the place. I mean, I was just kept looking back at the red car.
Yeah, we got all kinds of cool stuff in here. Wait, there's a where is it? There's a Brad Perez over there somewhere.
Hey,
Famous Brad Perez.
awesome.
Yeah. So
All
we
right,
got
man.
everything.
It's
Race car, Brad Perez's. We got them all.
oh man, it's gonna be a fun time. Whenever in the Charlotte area, I am definitely coming to meet you. We're gonna have a chat. We're gonna have a chat in real life without the mics, without anything.
There you go. Well, come on with it, man. Well, I appreciate you, dude.
I appreciate you too, man. It's been great. See you.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
Bye bye.